It's a great privilege to me to be here in the series of webinars. And today, my topic is rights and rehabilitation of person with a differently able. So, I am behalf of National Institute for Empowerment of Person with Multiple Disabilities. I am here. And before going to the detail about the rights, we have to understand three terms which we usually use interchangeably. One is impairment, second disability, and third is a handicap. When we look into these three words, it looks like a same, but actually it's not the same. So when it comes to the impairment, so impairment, it's moreover it's a loss of any organ or a structural aspects of our cell. So when it comes to the disability, due to the impairment, person cannot perform as equivalent to the normal population. So that is a disability. Whereas comes to the handicap, it's a societal perspective. If a person, like for example, if a person is visually challenged, the society decide that the person cannot be perform according to the social standards. So the society will perceive or decide the person cannot perform as per the standard. So these are the three terms we have to understand first. The reason is when we talk about rights, if you are not understanding three things, then it's very difficult to understand the rights as well as rehabilitation aspect. So comes to the impairment. So impairment, anyone can like get kind of impairment in any situation, and which is loss. Okay, so when it is loss, then it may prevent to perform according to their level. That is the impairment. It can be preventable, and at the maximum we can reduce, like we can prevent through prevention actions up to 50 to 60%. But apart from that, if any accident happens or anything, it may leads to the impairment. But whereas in a disability, comes to the disability, we can try to minimize their disability level, and we can optimize or we can improve their optimal function. So it is also we can able to work out very well, and even there will be some limitations. But when it comes to the handicap, we have to work on the eradication of the handicap. So from now, you should not use any term like a person with handicap. We have to use person with disabilities or person with differently able. So when you use handicap and you are put on their stress towards their labeling, or you are labeling them, they cannot perform like anybody else. So here I move on to the rights. When it comes to the rights, person with a disability rights, there is a one act. It was enacted in 1995. That's a Person with Disability Act. The Person with Disability Act covered 7 disabilities in 1995. It's talking about protection of equal opportunities, protection of rights, and full participations. So this three important objective it hold, and which was shifted to the in 2016, like Rights of Person with Disability Act. So previously it was a Person with a Disability Act, which talking about equal opportunities, protection of rights, and full participation. Whereas comes to the like Rights of Person with a Disability Act 2016, which covered 21 disability, and it's talking about or promoting the rights and protecting the rights. It's not like the previous one. It is slightly higher than the PWD Act. So comes to this in the 21 disabilities, in this 21 Disabilities Act, which introduced by the central government and the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, which talking about promote and protect the rights of dignity of a person with a disability. So here the term, the dignity, so which is need to be protect and promote in the in various life angles. We would say like educational, social, legal, economical, cultural, and political. So this all need to be protect and promote by every individual. So here we are here to understand the rights. So when we talk about this, we have to work on the educational, social, legal, economical, and cultural and political promotion to the person with disabilities. And when we call a person with disabilities or differently able. We should not say differently abled person, or we should not say disabled person. We have to keep a person at first. So at the first, so we have to keep person as a first. So person with disabilities or person with differently able. So when it comes to the 21 disabilities, so I will just read out what are the disabilities into the this act. So I would just categorize as per to make you understand. So we can say it's a head related, body related, genetical, and multiple disability and others. So I just categorize in the different level so that we can able to understand. So one comes to the head. So I'm going to read about disability. What are the disability covered by the Rights of Person with a Disability Act? One is blindness, low vision, hearing impairment, intellectual disabilities, mental illness, autism spectrum disorder, chronic neurological conditions, specific learning disabilities, Parkinson disease. So this all comes under the head. So I am kept it as a head. It's related to intellectual aspect. So I just put into the head aspect. Whereas comes to the body, it's all about. I'm just make you to understand how many disabilities and how we can understand or keep in our mind. So that's the reason I'm keep it in the this level. So body comes to the body aspect, locomotor disability, dwarfism, cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophy, multiple sclerosis, speech and language disability. This all comes under the body aspect. Comes to the genetical aspect, thalassemia, hemophilia, sickle cell disease. This all comes under the genetical aspect. Whereas comes to the multiple disability, yes, multiple disabilities, including deafblind and others active like attack victims. So acid attack victims also comes under this disability category as per the rights of person with disabilities. So these are all the 21 disabilities. And just I move on to the rights and entitlement. The government ensure the PWD enjoy their rights equally with others. When we talk about the equally with others, still we need to go further. So we are trying to promote the rights. Still there are a number of hurdles, a number of obstacles. So it has to be changed to everyone's mind or attitude towards a person with a disability. We have to encourage them. We have to make them to participate, and we should not let them down. So when it comes to the disability aspect, person with a disability aspect, we have to see that the ability than the disability. So in that case, the government also ensure the person with a disability need to enjoy their rights equally as normal they can enjoy. And the additional benefits of the Rights of Person with a Disability Act is that the higher education institute reservation need to be not less than 5%. Previously it was less than this. Now they increased not less than 5%. And government jobs, previously it was 3%, whereas this act ensured that not less than 4%. So each category, there are some calculation, there are some government rules and regulations, how they can accommodate into the government job, but previously it was 3, now move on to the not less than 4%. And reservation of allocation of land or poverty alleviation schemes. In that scheme, so if a government's taking some steps towards it has to be 3% need to alert to the person with the disabilities. If not, if it is not emphasized, or if it is not given by the government also, they can go for the court and get the rights. And comes to the educational aspect, a person with disabilities, those who are having more than 40% disability, we used to say benchmark disabilities, 6 to 18 years, they need to get free education in government funded organization or government recognized institution. They have to give the free education as well as inclusion education. So these are the educational aspects. So comes to the establishment of this act. This act talking about the establishment in that Previously, the commissionerate, there will be a one commissioner and there will be no advisory body. But this act talking about there will be commissioners in the commissioner of one advisory committee, not more than 11 members. In the advisory committee, 11 members will be there and they will give a guidance to the concerned activities to the commissioners. And comes to the office state commissioner, office of state commissioner of person with disabilities. Advisory, there will be a one commissioner and there will be one advisory committee, not less than 5 members. This is all the establishment aspect. And come to the very important aspect, punishment. If anything against the rights of person with a disability, it's a punishable. And if anyone's violating the rules and the regulation formed by the government, and which will be penalized. And in that, if anyone is violating, they will get 6 months or 6-month prison imprisonment, as well as 10,000 or either 6 months imprisonment and or 10,000. So if anyone is violating as given by the government's rules and regulation, they have to penalize. And second, if any person with a disability intentionally insult or sexually exploit or by the anyone, they can get the punishment of like months to 5 years, as well as fine. So according to the judicial state, they can go for the fine, but they are clearly mentioned there will be a imprisonment. So comes to these all the thing, as well as they are constitute a special court for person with a disability in every district, and they will handle all cases related to person with disabilities. These are the basics about the rights of person with disability act. So comes to the COVID-19, how it's affect their life and their rights. Yes, there are a number of complaints from the parents. It's about they are not availing the services throughout during this period. In our institute, we are trying to give like online therapies. We are trying to teach the skills to the parents as well. So when comes to the private organization, they are not able to provide the services as they given before. This is all the very difficult situation to them. And there are a number of complaints toward behavioral issues, which is increased. And if a child with autism spectrum disorder, they are finding very difficult to manage due to the sensory issues. These are all the practical difficulties during this lockdown. And there are a number of queries and there are a number of domestic violence reported by the parents. And apart from this, we found one positive aspects from the parents, that is previously the father not like much involved when they are going for work and all. They are very busy with that. During this lockdown, their involvement has been increased, and they are cordially connect with the kids, and they are try to like accommodate with the mother, and they are try to manage their kids. This one aspect, it's a positive aspect. I wanted to note it down here. So these all the rights and the challenges. So we have to address, we have to develop the virtual based materials, virtual based training, and virtual based like telecom tele counseling services, which would help for them. So here I would like to again emphasize on that we have to work on preventing impairment and minimizing the disability and eradicate the handicap. And thank you so much for give me the opportunity. And if you have any questions and all, then we have a discussion for that.
Participants, you can post your questions in the chat box. Thank you so much for the session, sir. Participants, if you start posting the questions, we shall continue with the Q&A session. Yes, sir, we have a question from Professor Damon Quinn. What are the special challenges for disabled people in terms of the pandemic?
Yes. No, one thing is during this lockdown, they are not able to go outside. And many children with special needs, especially with autism spectrum and all, they need more sensory integration therapy. So when they are kept into the house and this sensory issues turn into the behavioral issues. That is a one very big challenge we notice. And second, when the child, they are getting to the schedule, regular schedule, that's very easy to manage by the parents. But when now the all schedules get changed and they are not able to get the regular special education, all other therapies. This is another challenge faced by the parents. And third, they used to get touch with the professionals at least in a week time. They used to get touch with them and they used to get the information from the parent, professional and the teachers. Here, due to this lockdown, they are not able to get touch with them due to the network connection or all these things and the availability. So these are the main challenges, as well as when it comes to the getting their rights. Like for example, they need to get the monthly allowance and all. Now their government, they are making steps to give their money like maintenance grant to their account, and this account may not be sufficient to them to manage, actually speaking. So compared with the normal population, this it's insufficient to them, and that these all the concern are given by the parents.
Hello?
Yeah. So there is a one question like the actions taken by the government in terms of COVID-19. Yes, actually, what they are providing by the state government. The state government, they are giving the kit for them. Like if children with special needs, they are providing the kit to make a home-based training to the children with special needs. As well as what they are doing, they are collecting all physiotherapist contact numbers and they are compile it and they are circulating throughout Tamil Nadu. And every district they have a number of physiotherapists. They can contact the mothers or the parents. They can contact to the physiotherapist if, in case of child need a physiotherapy help, they can talk to them and they can get the ideas. That is one aspect of the state government. And one more thing, if any persons having speech person with a speech and language difficulty, they can also, they are providing the toll-free number by the state government. This is what state government doing. And the central government, as for our institute, we are conducting many webinars. Even we are conducting the programs, online programs to the parents, and we are keeps trying to connect with them regularly. We used to call them and contact, try to understand their practical difficulties at home, and we keeps giving a services through like telephonic or WhatsApp, through WhatsApp. So these are the steps taken by the government and the government institutes. And
Thank you.
yeah.
Yes. Thank you, sir. So the next question is from Professor Jashwin. What efforts need to be taken by parents or caretakers during this lockdown with not much access to regular healthcare and therapy?
Yeah. So first thing, the parents need to understand and accept the reality. So now, previously, we used to try to work on the multidisciplinary approach, but whereas it's turned into the transdisciplinary approach. What is a transdisciplinary and multidisciplinary? The multidisciplinary approach, where multi-specialty professional, like for example, a speech therapist, psychologist, physiotherapist, occupational therapist, or medical professionals, all together they work towards a child for the betterment. And the parents used to observe, and they will train by the multiple professionals. Now the parents become a therapist, kind of therapist, like we used to say, transdisciplinary expert. So here, the parents they need to work like a therapist at home, so that they will not discontinue with their regular therapy. That is one very important. And second, very importantly, they have to understand this will create the behavioral issues among the children due to they staying one particular place. So what they have to understand, what kind of behavioral issues they are showing, whether due to skill deficit or due to the frustration, they have to understand that and they have to work on it. And they can engage the children with a playway method, which would reduce like lots of behavioral issues. These are the things they need to take care. If they find any any issues, it's continuing and it's really disturbing them, they have to contact to the professionals. And we are here we are having a free toll-free number, as well as we have a contact numbers for them. They can contact us and they can get the therapeutical use.
Okay, sir. The next question is how to manage children with autism during these times?
Yes, this is a very good question, and which is very challenging actually. So when it comes to the autism spectrum disorder, this highly varied from any other kids. The reason is, like other kids, they have a behavioral issues as such, but these kids they may develop sensory issues along with the behavioral issues. So they have to manage both. So if a child is like autism spectrum children, they have a problem with the routine. They are strict with the routine. Even it is a routines get changed, then there will be a great issues for them, and the parents need to keep talking to them. And it is a situation we have, like the parents need to talk to them, and they can give a visual chart what are the new changes happening, like that. And many children they start accepting, but it will take time. And another very important challenge may face after the lockdown, when they are going to the new schedule in the school level or the institution level, then there will be a again they need to um, reschedule, and they have to adapt accordingly. These all the difficulty. Really, it is very difficult to manage children with ASD in the lower level, but many kids with the adolescent level and all, they are well managed with the parents, well managed by the parents, which was report we getting.
Thank you, sir. Next question is what about the people, men, women, and children with disabilities who are not staying at medical institutions being given the necessary care during the lockdown?
Yeah. So no, I'm not getting it. Can you read it?
Yes, sir. What about the men, women, and children with disabilities who are not staying at medical institutions and how are they being given necessary care during the lockdown?
Yeah. So actually, they need not. No, if they are staying at medical institution or not staying in medical institution
Not staying at medical institutions.
with the COVID,
Yes,
with the
sir, with
COVID,
COVID.
with COVID. So first thing, it's very easy to convey the message to men and women uh, about the reality. Okay, but comes to the children, there will be a bit a challenge. So it's very difficult to reach them. It's very difficult to make them to understand what is the quarantine. So what is the like COVID-19, how it's reflecting it. So first thing, we have to reduce their anxious level. That's very important. So we have to educate, and we have to give a clear guidelines. What are the things they have to follow, especially when the COVID's they diagnose with COVID, they have to reduce their anxiety level, and they have to give the proper support by the medical professional. There is a helpline number for that. Even every state they have, and even the central government they announce the proper number they can contact, and they can get the necessary actions. So if it is anything medical, they have to contact.
Okay, sir. Next question is how effective is rehabilitation for multiple disabled people?
So during lockdown,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So, multiple disability comes to the person with multiple disabilities. The effectiveness we cannot assume right now. The reason is we can presume that there will be a less effective compared with when they are going to the institution or when they are getting a services from the professionals. But what we can do right now, this critical situation, and nobody is expected, and now we are into that. So first thing, we have to stabilize their level, and we should not make them to go down. That is only one way we can do it right now. So we have to stabilize their level of disability, and we should not make more increase their level of disability. That is what we can do as of now for the person with multiple disabilities.
Okay, sir. Next question. How differently abled will overcome this quarantine?
Yeah, still we have a great difficulty, right? Even so-called normal population, we have a great difficulty. But we need to hope. We need to hope there will be a scientific findings will come sooner or later. So till then, we have to make them to understand. Like for example, like in a corona case, we cannot. Still, we are not able to understand what way it's spreading. So who can be as a carrier, who can be as a spreader. So in that case, comes to the person with a disability, then we have to educate them to maintain the social distance. That is very important. And like here, if a person's having infected with COVID, they have to go with all regular medical procedures. So that's why they can overcome. And we have to educate. They used to have a high anxious than the normal population, since like for example, if a person having locomotor disability compared with so-called normal. So if anyone's nearby and they may like coughing or something, or they have a diagnosed with a COVID-19, the so-called normal can move away faster than a person with locomotor disability. In that case, they may get more anxious. So in that case, this is our responsibility to make them to be maintain the social distance, as well as we have to provide all the needed aids to make them to be socially distanced. So there is a societal aspect actually.
Okay, so the next question is, what about the violence against these people by their own family members during lockdown due to the frustration?
Yeah, that is very important question. And domestic violence is alarmingly increased. Even if the family members they are harassing, they can go to the they can register their complaints to the police, as well as they can contact to the district differently welfare officer. Even they can contact the commissionerate. So there is a number. If you need, I can collect and share it here. They can share it to everyone. There is even the family members, they cannot have a rights to harass them. So in that case, they can go to the regular legal procedures.
Thank you, sir. The next question.
And there is a one question.
Yes, sir.
There is a one question from Harisha, and how they will be assessment of a disability level to the acid attack persons. Is it similar of natural disability disability person or different? Yeah, so this is completely different actually. So there will be a medical team as guided by the state government. The state government, there will be a chief medical officer, and they will evaluate the wound. They will evaluate how it's reflect their social functioning, and based on that, they will go for the certification. The assessment will be completely different from usual disability assessment, and there will be a medical team. They will evaluate.
Okay, so the next question is, how to deal with the psychosocial concerns of the disabled? Yeah, that's very important. And here we have to see what are the psychosocial concerns right now. So one is accessibility of therapy,
and second, the recreational aspect, and third, the connecting with others. So here we have to see what level they are getting affected during this lockdown, and what way, like whether it's a social aspect or whether it's a therapeutical aspect or educational aspect. So we have to evaluate and we have to work out. And again, it will take time comparative with like even the after lockdown, it get over, and it will take at least 2 to 3 months to overcome this, even compared with any other person. The reason is it will take time to process it, and they have to make a change according to them, and they have to avail their rights. So it will take time. Even psychosocial rehabilitation, it will take time, especially for the special needs.
Yes, sir. So the next question is, so you spoke about the punishments given to people who commit crime against differently abled. What if the person who commits crime is differently abled? Is there any reduction in the punishment, or the law works for same for every citizen?
No, actually, if a person with mental illness comes to the mental illness, even many movies you have seen, if a person having a mental illness, if they are committing a crime, it may not be like treated as normal as normal. So what they do, they will see to their mental status, and that during that particular act, based on that they will evaluate. If a person is mentally healthy, or her mental health is fine, then what they do, they will go with a regular procedure, with providing some changes into the how do you say, the prison and all. There will be some relaxation, or some uh, how do you say, some provisions. There will be some provisions for them, but it will be the regular, and they will go with the regular kind of thing. But they will check, is there any mental health issues. If there is no mental health issues and they are try to cheat and all, then it will be regular. And there is once, like I earlier mentioned, there will be a special court. The special court will handling all these cases.
Okay, sir. So the next question is, as the situation does not seem to end soon, what initiatives are planned by NIPMED for reaching out the services to this population?
Yeah, that's very important actually. The NIPMED started telecounseling services, like with like 30, nearly 30 professionals are there in the team, as well as physiotherapy department. They started like a telephonic therapeutical intervention, or guidance to the parents, as well as we are started working on the posters, and we are started working on webinars for the parents as well as the person with disabilities. Keeps we are moving on, and we are trying to come up with a new strategy. Even we are working on it. So how we can reach to the person with the disabilities. And again, our institute start functioning. So with 50 percentage of employees, so it's still it's functioning. So even they can contact to them and they can get. And we are working on it, and we are trying to go with a more virtual level of intervention. And we are planning for is there any other methodical to go with a regular intervention also. So this is what we are working on, and we are come up with many manuals also.
Okay, sir. So the next question is, during this time, accessibility to health services are not possible. How far telecounseling helps the caregivers? Give us more details on the effectiveness of telecounseling. What are some of the coping mechanisms that could work?
So as of now, I can give my view based on the clients we called and we dealing with them. So usually during this uh, like lockdown, we are getting many calls like anxiety towards COVID-19, whether we are getting COVID-19 or is there any possibility of it. These kind of questions we are getting it, and moreover, many calls for where we can go for like medical treatment and all. So when it comes to the telecounseling, there will be a great challenge when initially. So since we cannot see them and we are not able to get more details about them, But once you started developing a rapport, definitely there will be, if they are coming for the follow-ups and all, there will be a good positive result. But it's not necessary in the one session. It has to go 2 or 3 sessions to develop a rapport. Whereas in the regular mode or the like realistic mode, it can be like even rapport can be developed in the first session itself. But telephonic counseling, it more on the information sharing, and if they need the medical assistance, we refer to the psychiatrist. This is what we are doing right now. And if a parent's having some like distress, like we know personally the parents, when they are coming for the service, we can able to counsel better than the a person unknown. That is what we are.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is, the measures taken by the central and state government for socio-economic rehabilitation in the post-COVID. The participant says that she feels no consideration has been given to these people. What do you think, sir?
Even I think so. Think the same. Even they did not talk about any specific aspects of them. That is what I'm feeling. But I need to go through in detail about their whatever they are given economical rehabilitation aspect. I need to read through. Then I will get back. Since I don't know much about it, I cannot comment on it. But from the common man perspective, I feel it's they are not giving much importance to them, or they are not giving us need like they need their needs are more, but they are giving less importance.
Okay, so so the next question is, when persons with disability are infected with COVID-19, do they have special healthcare facility ready in place either by government or private sector, considering their special needs with respect to caretakers and infrastructural aspects?
I'm not having much idea about this, no? But I would say like uh, we are trying to give like in detail information to them how they can maintain, but I'm not much aware about this, whether they are having a specialty like a special facility for them. So I will anyway, I will check and I will let you know who asked like that.
Okay, sir. So the next is, how can we reduce fear among them and their disability for COVID-19?
So here we are trying to create an awareness about COVID-19 as well as the treatment outcome. So comparative, like though we have we are in the third position in Tamil Nadu is the third position, but the success rate of treatment is high. So likewise, we are trying to work on the two levels. One is how we can prevent from the COVID-19, and second, if at all, if a person having like we had as a few cases like COVID-19 positive cases, they are actually from the hospital they are connected to our team, and they work with them, and what they found, they have a fear about a death, fear about the future, fear about the social stigma. We are working on that three levels. One is like we are educating how important the medical treatment is. Second, we are working on their fear factor. Is there any other like future, all those things? Is there anything else they are hindering to have this kind of fear? And we are working on it. And third, after this treatment, if we are going to the society, will they accept that kind of aspect? We are working. We are sensitizing society as well as we are sensitizing to them. So it's about we are working on the cognitive area also, as well as we are working in the community level. We are trying to educate. That's what we are doing right now. But we have to wait. So since everyone is new to this pandemic, so we have to wait and see what kind of challenges we are going to face.
Yes, sir. So we have come to the second last question. Um, Can you give your suggestions to the research scholars who are into course of their study with persons with disability during and after lockdown? Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah. Can you repeat? Just I'm reading that.
Can you give your suggestions for the research scholars who are into the course of their study with persons with disabilities during and after lockdown?
Yeah. So one is during lockdown when they are conducting studies, and there is no chance to meet the person with disabilities or anyone. So that is one thing. If they are started their study and they are stuck with the data collection, that may be a bit difficult to understand, like accept this. We have to accept. It would take a long time to come up with a normal position. And second, if they wanted to conduct the study with a person with disabilities, right now you have to go with a virtual mode, and we have to work on the mental health aspect through many questions are there. You can work even if you want to go and meet the person with disability, and you have to be maintaining social distance, and you have to take all the precautionary measures, since the person with disability, according to the study, person with disabilities are more vulnerable to get any kind of disease, and we should not be as a carrier, and we should not like receiver. So we have to be very clear, and we have to very careful when we are dealing with a person with disability. At the same time, we should maintain the social distance as a physical, and we should not have any kind of untouchability or modernized untouchability in our mind. That is very, very important when we deal with a person with disabilities. That's what I would like to give to the research scholars.
Yes, sir. So the last question is, does NIPID have launched any special program during COVID-19?
Yeah, we don't have any special program as such, and whereas we are working on or trying to reach out person with a disability, those who are availing the services, as well as we are trying to trying to educate them in COVID-19, as well as how to get the regular service through virtual mode. Right now, we are working on that line.
Thank you so much for answering all the
So,
questions patiently, sir.
yes, there was one Pratibha. Yes, Pratibha Mishra. Yes, already disability is stigmatized them. Yes, of course. But it is not only from them, their point of view. Being as a fellow being, we have to be very clear in our attitude. Uh, we have to empathize to their level, and we have to give without any kind of kind of pity. It has to given 100%, right, real. It's not only with a paper and black and white, and it has to reach that case. As I mentioned earlier, we have to work to eradicate handicap and minimize disability and prevent impairment.
Thank you, sir. So I request you to give your closing remarks for the session, sir.
Thank you so much for joining all. And what I understood from this huge number of questions, and I'm very happy that everyone has your own idea about a person with disability, and I'm pleasure to answering it. Being as a responsible individual and the citizens of country, and always the social workers on the front line. So I'm very happy, and in this, as I earlier mentioned, this is a very a crucial situation, and it's completely new for us. We have to try to accept, try to aware. We try to get all the information, not only for the person with the disabilities, and one is accept and aware, and try to adapt and go live long along. Even though we are we need to go along with the corona, we have to face it, and we have to move forward. So wish you all the very best, and I'm thankful to the organizer and the organizing committee. Thank you so much.
Thank